I'm Cody Craig, and this week we're going to be talking about Houston, Texas. This is not in my top 10, and I wouldn't put it on my bucket list of places you have to go. But it does have a lot to show for itself, and it is a pretty unique place, considered it's one of the largest cities in Texas.
As far as lodging or housing goes, I would just do an Airbnb or VRBO. The hotels down here and around Midtown are going to cost you $150, $200 anyways, so might as well drop it on somewhere comfy and somewhere you can at least hang out and bring people back to.
Now, what are you going to do when you're here? There's so many things and so many options to do in such a big city like that. It has everything you could possibly want. Downtown, to be honest, is very dull. It doesn't have a lot going for it. It doesn't have a ton of great restaurants, doesn't have a ton of great places to drink, but it does have the sports, and it does have the big buildings and things like that what a typical downtown has.
You know how I know your downtown sucks? It's my easiest test. On a 6:30 on a Tuesday, if every restaurant is closed and nothing open in a 2-mile radius, that's when you know you have nothing going on.
One thing I really like about this city is the street art. It's everywhere. I mean, Houston doesn't have a lot to show for it, but one thing it does do, it does good. I'd read about the mullet online, and I'd really been excited about coming here and visiting it, but unfortunately I just read that in 2014 the owner of this place passed away and it's passed on to new leadership, so it doesn't have a lot of unrestricted access. So unfortunately I can't really get to all the good shots, but if you're willing to kind of venture outside the Midtown and go down to Kingsport, you will find a spot that has a lot of other good street art as well.
Houston also has tons of great museums. I don't think there's any place I can think of besides some of the major European cities and meccas that has a better museum system, especially not in the United States. Maybe New York or San Francisco, but Houston definitely gives them a run for their money. I would check out, for sure, the Museum of Fine Arts. I would check out Museum of Contemporary Arts. I didn't have time, but I would have also loved to gone to the Museum of Natural Science. I've heard so much about it. And I've had friends that go and they say, that's the number one you gotta go to. One of my favorite spots of the city that I got to travel to was on the southwest side of town in Bel Air, and that's Chinatown. And lastly, but not least, if you're gonna go and just chill, especially great time with your girlfriend or with your family, we have the Kemah Boardwalk just on the other side of Clear Lake. Houston is really famous for obviously barbecue, fish fries, chicken, stuff like that, but I want to touch on the things that were my favorite. My favorite places to visit here were Cafe Tout Suite. You have Maine in Chinatown, which is my favorite spot to grab something for lunch or for dinner. The cost and the taste are out of this world. And lastly, if I'm gonna grab a drink in Houston, I'm gonna go to No Republic, my favorite bar. This place has got over 100 beers on tap and a wall that always changes for the drafts that they pick up weekly and monthly and seasonal stuff. The honorable mention is if I would have stopped by a place called Killen's, it's got a great, fantastic barbecue in Pearland. Unfortunately, the line when I went was over an hour long, and I just simply don't have that much time, so lazy. Another thing that the city has is fish and shrimp, but I know that this city around here has a ton of oil and oil industry refineries, and I'd just rather cut that out altogether just to be safe. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed everything that I showed you. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. It was really my pleasure to show you around Houston. Make sure you press that subscribe button.